Are you coming to the tree? They strung up a man there, they say, who murdered 3. Strange things did happen there, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight by the hanging tree. Hello, welcome to the round table. I'm Sarah Kennedy. If you like what I've been doing here with my Traitors recap videos, come and find me on the podcasts. On a podcatcher of your choice, there will be Made for TV, that's MAID, where me and my wonderful co-host Dawn talk about all sorts of TV, from the sublime to the ridiculous, and we talk about it with a focus on female voices and underrepresented voices in the industry. And also this week, it's been a big week. I've launched Rambling Through Eternity with my friend David, which is about classic episodes of Doctor Who. Quite different to this, but enormous fun. So yeah, if you miss me, because this is the finale, so we can't spend any more roundtables together, I'm afraid, guys. But I thought I would dress up for the occasion for you and put on my most Claudia makeup. So this is your spoiler warning, and ridiculously, the headline already seems to be on the BBC News, so you may well have been spoiled elsewhere, so apologies for that. But yes, this is a discussion of the final episode of The Traitors of this series, so make sure that you are all caught up and then join me for my thoughts. I was sad for James that he went at the first round table, but honestly, I think it was the best for the game. I was so excited that both traitors were still in play. Jack filled with remorse because James was his pal and he voted for him, and just absolutely wasting no time at all. Rachel goes immediately to work on Faraz because she wants to minimise any suspicion that he has of her. Stephen in voiceover talks about putting himself first, but both traitors are saying exactly the right things to each other in the turret, in the privacy that they have there. At breakfast, it's so different. Obviously, the group is so small, but people basically dance in with a spring in their step. They are so proud and so delighted to have made it through to the final contestants. Jack, amazingly, has got through to the end without a single roundtable vote. I think he is a particularly strong faithful, and I would put my money on him if it were a faithful win, but otherwise it does feel like the traitors are really strong, stronger than I've ever seen going into a final episode, as long as they can keep it together. Rachel lies with such confidence to Faraz, because he is now being convinced slowly that she is a faithful. And to Stephen, she says, "Don't let anybody get in your head today." She really is the master of this game. So then to the final mission, which we know is going to be big and is going to be big money, because they come into this under £80,000, and it seems like the most they can win is 100,000. So I was interested to see where this extra money was going to come from. So they've gone out to a particularly enormous looking Scottish loch, which is absolutely epic. And then the helicopter flying over as well is very Mission Impossible. Everyone's in black jumpsuits, where of course Stephen feels at home. There's boats, there's flares, there's a giant dam, there's a huge rope ladder up the side of this dam, which doesn't look great for people who are scared of heights. There was an interesting comment from a disability campaigner online who was asking about disabled casting. What comes first? Is it the mission design or is it the casting? And how would these, especially these big physical missions, how would they be adapted for disabled contestants, physically disabled contestants? I'm really interested to know that. If anybody knows anyone on production or has seen anything in interviews, I'd be really interested to know. Now, this is a strange moment because we see some vulnerability from Rachel. She says she's got a fear of heights. I didn't think she was afraid of anything. So in the first part of the challenge, they win £9,000, which is excellent. And there's a chance for an extra £10,000 but they have to run down the slope of this dam facing forwards, and it's gonna, they need to be down by 5 minutes total. I was actually retching just thinking about it because I've done abseils, I don't like them, but a traditional abseil where you don't have to look where you're going would have been absolute child's play compared to this. Despite Rachel and Faraz's fear of heights, they actually make it look quite easy. There are no meltdowns. And someone online was saying that the ultimate liar in this game is surely the mission countdown clock. Yes, so happy endings all round. That's £19,000 added to the prize fund, which is incredible. The total is now a whopping £95,750. Back at the castle, I love how everyone has a forensic memory for voting records. Everyone has a little notebook, I think, upstairs in their bedroom. They point out that Faraz has never voted for a single traitor. Jack is convinced now that Rachel is a traitor, but will he be able to campaign at this short notice and take anybody with him? Jade points out that Rachel was absolutely guilt-tripping everybody when she said, I've come here to be the best faithful, don't take my achievement away from me. But she can get away with almost anything at this point. For the final round table, they are so dressed up. Jade's tartan gown is absolutely immaculate. Stephen is positively demure in his black and white jumpsuit, which is just giving very slinky, very gay tuxedo. He looks fabulous. So the rules now are that if the faithful win, they split the pot, but any remaining traitor takes it all. A traitor duo would split it between them. We've never had a traitor duo before. Jade goes, the traitors are setting me up as an easy banishment. She's absolutely spot on. They've already discussed their voting plan for the evening. And Stephen has the deciding vote in that banishment, and he votes Jade exactly as planned. Now, frustratingly for the viewer, I think, they won't now find out that Jade was a faithful until much later after the end game, which makes it harder for them but less satisfying for us as we don't get to see that reveal. There is doubt cast on Stephen, but I don't know how far that will go at this point. I think it's too late. And Stephen is getting so good at barefaced lying to poor Jack, and Jack trusts him. And Jack and Faraz could possibly build an alliance, but I think they've been swayed too much now by these incredible traitors. So we go to the fire pit. We use the indoor one this time, the same as on the celebrity version of the Traitors, which always makes me nervous because there's far too many open flames close to that wood panelling in there, but I assume properly risk assessed. I miss the outside though. They used to use the fire pit at the front of the castle, and the backdrop obviously was incredible, but this is probably better controlled for weather and wind and everything. So they throw the little pouches of powder into the fire. Red means we vote again. Green means end the game, and it is up to the contestants when the game ends. It's 100% red before the first vote because everybody believes there is still at least one traitor with them. And poor Faraz is voted out. He's so close. He just wanted to do nice things for his family. He faded into the background quite a bit, I would say, until maybe the midpoint of the game, which was actually a really good tactic. And painfully, he works out that Stephen and Rachel are traitors and working together in his little diary room clip. He was so close. So, another fire pit banishment, another 100% red flames. Are the traitors going to go by the script that they wrote for themselves on day one? Well, yes, it's as simple as that. Jack is voted out. There are no curveballs. He can't do it alone. So Stephen and Rachel win together. I can't quite believe it. It was so straightforward. and Stephen was honourable. He had the opportunity to take it all, but he kept his bargain and he was happy to split the prize pot with Rachel, as he was from day one, as he was throughout. Claudia goes Shakespearean when she says, two traitors, but totally faithful to each other. And they were, despite the sort of rocky road, despite the whisperings against them, despite them having to pile on and cast suspicion on each other. They were faithful to each other. What an incredible partnership, and so unexpected for there to be this kernel of trust at a game that is about deception. So yeah, it is a show about deceit. And if you think the bad guys won, you can't really get upset about it because the show told you what it was from the beginning. But there will be grumbles about a traitor win. But they played the best game and we know it. However, though, this final episode, as it goes entirely to the script conceived by Rachel and Stephen, I feel like it's missing some tension for the viewer. Maybe I'm an adrenaline junkie, but I was expecting some sort of strange curveball or unexpected twist that we hadn't thought of. I think what we needed was the reveal to the final faithful, a little bit of grit in the oyster. So all the emotion is actually left to Uncloaked, the visualised podcast. What lame-o would do a thing like that? And to Claudia, of course, who just radiates pride and joy in her players. Whoever wins, she loves them all. She is absolute mother and she is absolute queen. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. As I said, you can find me on your podcatchers at Made for TV. That's MAID, talking about all sorts of new TV, old, new, fun, serious. I don't know if you can vote for the new BBC Director General, but Dawn and I would appreciate your vote. And also Rambling Through Eternity, which is my new podcast dropping weekly, where David and I discuss every classic episode of Doctor Who. He's the expert, I'm the novice. I get to do silly jokes and ask silly questions and sing silly songs as well. So I hope you get to join us for those. Now, for this channel, I'm not sure what to do next. But Irish Traitors is now available on iPlayer. So let me know if you want more content like that. Maybe I could do an international recap or a comparison between the UK game and the Irish game. Because I'm a big Traitors fan and I need to expand what I'm watching. So if you've watched international series before, tell me which ones are brilliant, because I know there's some absolute gems out there. So, until next time, congratulations, Traitors.